We're on the top of Daf Lamed Daled Amid Beis. Tam Chomer Mimoy. Let's try to understand the Gemara's kasha. We said that Rabbi Yehuda is of the opinion that the mazik takes half of the Dmei HaNevela and Pchas Nevela de Mazik Havipalga. So the mazik loses half of what was depreciated in the value of the nevela from the time of the gicha, and the mazik will pay in that particular case 100 zuzim of the dmei shor hachai, that's his shor, the mazik shor, and the dmei nevela will be split into two. So Abai raises the following kasha, and he asks this kasha to Rava. Then Matzinu, it comes out that according to Rabbi Yehuda, tam is chomer mimuad, which is impossible. That's an untenable position. It means that with regard to Shor Muad, we had a Gemara back on Daf Yudom and Beis that the Nevela belongs to the Nizak. And any depreciation in the value of the Nevela subsequent to the Negicha is the loss of the Nizak. And the Mazik only pays that which is the depreciation in the value of the Shor as a result of the Negicha, at that moment of Negicha. Any subsequent loss that is suffered by the nizak, meaning pchas nevela, is suffered by the nizak. As far as the shor tam is concerned, Rabbi Yehuda holds that if the nevela goes down in value, depreciates after the negicha, then the nizak and the mazik together will both participate in suffering that loss, and the mazik would add to the chatzi nezek that he was chayiv at the time of the misa, even chatzi dmei apchas of nevela. V'chi tema hachinami, and if you'll say in hachinami, maybe that exactly is the case. That in tam we're going to be more machmer on the bal hamazik, meaning on the short tam itself, so that he suffers half of the loss of the nevela. Well, that can't be. That's an impossible position. And we're going to quote Rabbi Yehuda from a different brisa, or actually a Mishnah, later on in Daf Mem Hayom and Beis, with regard to a person who's shomer shor, he's got a shmira pchusa, the shor went out and damaged. And we're going to see exactly what Rabbi Yehuda says in that Mishnah. Rabbi Yehuda omer tam chayav umuad potter. So the Gemara says, you suggested that the shor mazik in the case of a tam, the Baal Ashar loses with the depreciation of the nevela subsequent to the negicha. Well, guess what? Maybe you'll quote a Mishnah and prove and support this position that tam will be more that tam will be more chomer than muad. So the Gemara says, no. When did we find, according to Rabbi Yehuda, that a tam is more chomer than muad? That's linyan shmira. It means this has to do with a double mute of v'lo yishmerenu. In shor tam it says v'lo yishmerenu, he pays chatzi nezek. So that tells you v'lo yishmerenu that he has to give and supply a shmira ma'ula. And then again it says v'lo yishmerenu by muad, and that's called ribu yachar ribu. So this is the sugya later on at Daf Mem Hey Amid Beis, and in that sugya, Rabbi Yehuda derives the conclusion that Adarab, the Torah imposed on the Baal Shor Tam a greater and more superior quality guarding or shmira than the Torah imposed in the case of a Shor Muad, and a Shor Muad is down to shmir pchusa because of Ein Mir Echamir El Rabos. I'm sorry, Ein Ribuy Achribuy El Lamai. Sorry. So the Gemara says that's only linyan shmira. The Torah allowed and recognized shmir pchusa, low level, low quality of shmira in the case of Shavua, Dechsivi Kroy, because of the psukim of V'lo Yishmerenu and the fact that Torah repeats it twice. But is there any source whatsoever from which you could derive that Shor Tam, according to Rabbi Yehuda, has a higher level of payment and pays more than a shor muad? V'atanya, we learned in a brayso, Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Rabbi Yehuda darshans the pasuk u'machur es ashor achai v'chotzu es kaspo, v'games hameis yechetzun. And he says, Yochai might think that shar shavamana, if a shar was worth 100 zuz, which is the equivalent, because every selah is worth 4 zuz. So if we want to convert 100 zuz to sloim, we have 25 sloim. Shenogach shar shavachamesh sloim. Whereas the shar hanizak was only worth 5 sloim. So again, the shar mazik is worth 25 sloim. The shar nizak is worth 5 sloim. V'nevel yofes selah. And the nevel itself is worth 4 sloim. So are we going to say, this is the Habamina, that in this case, the din is zeno tilchatzi hachai v'chetzi ames, v'zeno til chatzi hachai v'chatzi ames. The mazik is going to take half of the damim, the value of the chai, of the live animal, meaning the mazik, and half of the nevela, of the dead carcass of the nizak, and so too the nizak will take exactly the same amount. And what that means is, therefore, each one is going to take 13 sloim, right? Which is 12 v'chetzi sloim of Dmei Achai, chatzi sela from the Dmei Ames, because the Dmei Ames is worth a sela, and the Dmei Achai is worth, as we said before, 25. So you divide 25 into 2, and you add a half a sela, and that gives you 12 and a half sloim. Is Amrit, this is an impossible position. V'chi muad l'ma yotze. The Torah told you that muad, because the shor has already proven itself as an icon, therefore you have to be more machmir on the bala nezek, on the bala mazik. Lahachmir lahokil lahachmir. Certainly, it goes without saying that we have to be more machmir on the shor muad. Uma muad einu mishalim ilamashe hizik tam hakal lo kolshkein. In other words, how can you possibly say that in this particular set of circumstances they each split the chai and they each split the mace? Certainly, the Torah did not address itself in that case, in that scenario. But rather, the Torah was talking about a case where the shor mazik was worth more than the shor nizak. I'm sorry, that the Torah was not talking about a case where the shor mazik was worth more than the shor nizak. And therefore, the Gemara proves from this brisa that Rabbi Yehuda calls the shor tamakal vis-a-vis the shor muad, which is chamur. So it's impossible to say that according to Rabbi Yehuda, tam would be more chamur than muad with regard to b'chas nevela, such that the Baal shor tam has to suffer the loss of half of the b'chas nevela. Elam Rabbi Yochanan. There's no question in anyone's mind that as far as P'chas Nevel is concerned, any depreciation in the value of the carcass subsequent to the Negicha, the Mazik doesn't have to share in that Hefsed. And that's what we know from Shor Muad, and it's certainly where the Kal V'chomer would apply to a Shor Tam. We have to be more lenient in Shor Tam vis-a-vis the Mazik than we do in the Shor Muad. But rather, Shvach Nevela Ika Benayu. On the contrary, it's not that the Nevela went down in value, but rather it appreciated in value. And this is going to be the nafkamina in a case where the Nevela went up in value, maybe because there was more of a demand for basar, and at the time of the Habara Bedin, it's worth more than it was worth at the time of the Negicha. The Mar Savar, the Nizakavi, Mar Savar Palga. According to Rabbi Meir, the Mazik does not have any partnership or any ownership in the Nevela. And therefore, the Shvach Nevela, in the appreciation of the value of the Nevela, is totally of the Nizak. And the Mazik will pay from the Shar Mazik, the Guf Shar Mazik, based on what the Nevela was worth at the time of the Negicha. But Umar Savar, according to Rabbi Yehuda Palga, we're going to derive that there's shutfis in the nevela from the pasuk v'chetzi hameis and v'chetzi hameis, and therefore he's going to take half of the shvach of the nevela. V'hainu de kokasha leila Rabbi Yehuda, and now we can begin to understand what was Rabbi Yehuda's problem with the other brisa. Hashta diamrit, now that you say that chas rachmana iluyei de mazik, the Torah had compassion over the mazik, the shakel b'shvacha, and allowed that chatzi nevela should be in the rishus of the mazik, such that now the mazik, the Baal Shor mazik, gets half of the appreciation of the shevach. Yochel, I might think, shor shavach hamesh sloim, shenogach shor shavamona. It means that if the nizak's shor was worth 100 zuz, because we multiply if we want to convert sloim into din, we multiply by 4. So that 4 times 25 is 100 zuz, which is the equivalent, again, as we said, of 25 sloim. And the shor mazik is worth 5 times 4 is 20 zuz. Vanaveli yofa chamishim zuz. Okay, so the nevela is worth 50 zuz. So again, let's go quickly over the numbers. Just jot this down so we have it. The shor mazik, we said, was worth 5 slime equals 20 zuz. Okay, and the shor hanizak, we said, was worth mana, which mana we said was 25, was 100 zuz. Okay, and now the nevela is worth 50 zuz. Okay, so let's see if we have this worked out. And again, keep in mind that the nevela is 50 zuz. We said that would be 12 and a half slime if we'll convert it into slime. And the nizak, we said, was worth 25 slime. And the mazik, we said, was worth 5 slime. Is that correct? The mazik. Yeah, 5 slime. Okay, so are we going to say in this case that zen el telchatzi achai v'chatzi ames v'zen el telchatzi achai v'chatzi ames? So what does that mean? Let's see the chai, right? This is the chai, and this is the mes. So let's see. From the chai, which we said was 5 slime, so each one is going to get 2.5 slime. Okay, now we have the mace, which we said was 12.5 slime, which is 6 1/4, right? So this is from the chai, and this is from the mes. And now the Torah made the mazik a shutaf in the nevela. Okay, so now we have a total of what? Of, let's say, 9 slime. So Heichan Matzinu Mazik Niskar, Shezen Niskar. Why is this called Niskar? It's 9 Slim. Oh, yeah, very good. Rabbi, you hear what it comes out? The mazik ends up with 9 slime, and he started with only 5 slime. That's impossible. So we're going to have to say that the Torah was addressing a different case. The Shor HaNizak was worth less than the Shor HaMazik. Okay. No, let's say if the Shor HaNizak is worth less than the Shor HaMazik, and Azu Mafsid Chatzi Midmei Shoro, V'notel Chatzi Midmei Ames. So in this case, the mazik is not going to gain. But if the Shor HaNizak is equal to more than the Shor HaMazik, then if we split everything, then the mazik comes out on top. The Omer, another raya that it's impossible to say this, Yishalem Yishalem. Torah doubles the language Shalom Yishalem to teach me that the Shor Tam, even in the case of Shor Tam, Shezik Bailim Mishalmim. The Shor Mazik, the Baal Shor Mazik has to pay. Vein Bailim Notlim. So it's not possible that the Bailim of the Shor Mazik would take away from the Nizak. So we have to assume that the Shor Mazik is not going to gain anything by dividing the Domim of the Nevela. So the Gemara says, "My view, Omer, you already had a spar. Why did you need the pasuk Shalom Yishalem? V'chitayim, you might have argued. Hani mili. When do we say that we don't split the Dmei Achai and Dmei Mes Heicha the Ika Pseidel and Nizak? Avol Heicha the Ika Pseidel and Nizak Kegon Shor Shove 5 Sloim. Shenogach Shor Shove 5 Sloim. And the Vela is worth Shloshim Zuz. Right, so 5 Sloim we said equals 20 Zuz. And the Nevela is worth 30 Zuz. Well, that doesn't make any sense to me. It means that the Nevela went up in price after the Negicha. Is Shokel Nami Mazik B'Shvach. So you could argue that in that case, the Mazik will get half of the Shevach, which would be the equivalent of 5 Zuz. Is Omer, therefore we need the Pasuk Shalom Yishalem, Bailim Mishalmim Ve'ein Bailim Notim. There are a lot of details here that have to be worked out. Amalei Rav Acha bar Tachlifa l'Rava. Im Kain, if Rabbi Yehuda does not interpret the pasuk v'gam es hames yechtzun in terms of the pchas nevela, in other words, the nizak never takes more than chatzi nezek, then when the pasuk had in mind that the tzuras tashlum is by splitting the Dmei Achai Dmei Mes, Motzino Rabbi Yehuda Tam Shalom Yotzer Michatzi Nezek. So let's say the shor is worth 50 zuz, right? That's the shor shenoga. And the shor that was killed was worth 40 zuz, and the veil is worth 20 zuz. And now we're going to divide it all up, and the total value is 70, which divided by 2 is 35. Then the mazik is paying more than chatzi nezek. Why? Because the nizak was worth 40 zuz, and then it's worth 20 zuz because of the negicha, and now you're paying him 35 zuz, so you're paying him more than chatzi nezek. That's impossible. Then you only pay half a nezek. The Gemara answers, Islay Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda holds that when it says in the pasuk Games Hames Yachtzun, it means Pchas Shepichsa Misa Machtzin B'chai. So we evaluate how much the nevela went down compared to what it was worth in its lifetime. And the Nizak will collect half of the Pchas of the Dmei Shor Achai. So it means that the pasuk is talking dafka about a case where by splitting the Dmei Shor Achai, the Nizak will receive Chatzi Nezek, not more and not less. And that means that two shvarim are worth the same amount of money. So Gemara asks me, Nole, how does Rabbi Yehuda know that the pasuk is dafka talking about a case, as we mentioned before, where they're both equal in value? The Pashas of pasuk says liolam, unqualified. We divide the Dmei Achai. If you're going to say it's because v'gama sames yechetzun, and the way that we interpret it according to Rabbi Meir, so ha'afke Rabbi Yehuda already used that pasuk l'zen otel chatzi achai chatzi ames, zen otel chatzi chai chatzi ames, to teach us that we split it together, the Dmei Achai and Dmei Ames. And that we used, if you remember, to split the Shvach when it went up in value. So the Gemara answers, Im Kain, if the pasuk is only addressing the case of Pchas Nevela, in which we divide it in half, is Nichto Krovi Es Hames. Why does it say Mai V'gam? It says V'gam Es Hames Yachtzun Shma Minotarti. This leads us to the Mishnah here on Daf Lamed Daled Amud Beis. Yesha Chayav Al Maisa Shoro Upoto Al Maisa Atzmo. And Upoto Al Maisa Shoro V'Chayav Al Maisa Atzmo. Ketza. Shoro should be if a shor attacks a man and embarrasses him, potur. The Baal Shor does not pay boshes. But who should be if the Adon himself was mavayish by hitting someone, chayav, he has to pay boshes. Shoros is shesimas ein avdo, or hipil es shino shel avdo, potter. The Baalim don't have to pay for what the shor did. But the who, if the Adon simas ein avdo, v'hipil es shino, chayav, he has to be meshachar the eved. That's based on a parsha in Shmos Chaf Aleph, v'chiyake ish es ein avdo es ein amosa v'shichasa lachavshi shalcheno tachas ein. Shosha chavel bi'ove v'imo chayav. That's the Baalim have to pay the parents for chavala. But who shechavel b'aviv, he himself, the son, was chavel bi'ove potter because he's chayav misa and he's potter from tashlumin midin kim lev deramin. Shosh hidlik sagodesh b'shabbos chayav. Who said look at goes Shabbos potter mipnei shemis chayav b'nafsha. So the Gemara says the following: Tani Rabbi Avo Kami de Rabbi Yochanan Kol Makalkel Pturin. We have a principle of Meleches Machshavas Asra Torah, and a Makalkel is potter. Chutz michovel umavir. Amalei Rabbi Yochanan responded Puk Tani Levra. Take this out of the base medrash. Chovil umaver ain't a mishnah. There's no exception, and even in the cases of chovil umaver, you're only chayiv if you're metaken, but not if you're makalkel. But v'imtim tzalom mishnah, and if he'll tell me that certain tanoim will hold of this halacha, that mavir and chovil achayav, then it's got to be a case where it's not derech kilkul, but rather it's metakin. Why is it metakin? He has a purpose in this chavol. B'chov l'tzorch l'kalbo. He needs the blood to feed his dog. So even though, as far as the animal itself that he beat up, that is a kilkul, but nevertheless, he has a tikkun for his kelet. Umavir v'tzarech liofro. Well, bitzarech liofro. Notice the case of mavir is he burns something and he needs the ashes. So this sreifa has a toelis, it's a tikkun and not a kilkul. And on that kind of sreifa, you be chayiv on Shabbos. So frek the Gemara, Tanan, we learned in our Mishnah, Shor shehidlik es hagodesh b'Shabbos chayiv, hu shehidlik es hagodesh b'Shabbos potur. Ukitani, hu dumya d'shoro. We should assume that if these two cases are being compared and contrasted in the Mishnah, then they're similar cases. Ma shora deloko boile. Just like in the case of shor, the shor has no need for the hezek of sreifa. He doesn't have any toelis from that. Isaf hu nami loka boile.